Hi everybody, it's Now You're Cooking. It's Thursday night and it's a free virtual demo and we have a big crowd of people here today. Say hello to Geoff Myers.
Hi.
Hi. Bella, Willoughby, and Ash Kahrl, and you may recognize Ash from Bath Print Shop. And they are here today to make
a poy-key, which is a South African dish, which is normally cooked like a barbecue outside on a braai, but it can equally be done inside. It's similar to a Dutch oven, which you're probably more familiar with here in
We
America.
have one right here.
And yeah, that's
it's heavy.
That's the poy-key,
And it's got legs on it.
and it's very social because the one thing about it, you can add all sorts of things that you want into it, and then share the recipe amongst your friends. And we're doing a beef poy-key this evening, together with some beer bread. And the beer bread, I can tell you what, is delicious. It's very nice and it goes well with poy-keys. So
we're excited. So before we get started, just want to mention next week we're making sticky toffee pudding, which I made this week for Kelly, one of our employees, for her birthday, and it was very well received, if I may say so. And then next week the week after, I should say, we have Jonna Stanton. She's going to be making gluten-free pies. I think she's making an apple cherry pie, which sounds really good. So, all right, let's take it away, guys.
okay, shall I start? What we're going to do is just add a bit of oil to these are special pots as well. They're very heavy and they can take a lot of heat.
Yep.
And
so you really want to use cast iron.
yes,
right?
cast iron is far better than anything else. And I've already prepared some onions and leeks, and what we're going to do is fry them until they're soft. So that'll take a few minutes.
Okay.
And meantime, Bella, Willoughby, and Ash are going to get on with making the beer bread.
So how many cups are we going to add?
It said 3 cups.
Self-raising flour.
Self-raising flour.
Okay, so I'm going to pour it in. 3 cups. Yeah, I'm going to pour it into the cup over the bowl so we don't make a big mess. Oop.
Or we do. But if we make a mess, it goes right in the bowl.
Yeah.
1 cup.
2. 3.
Awesome. 3. And we're using self-rising flour, which basically has baking powder or baking soda in it already, so you don't need yeast. It just rises. And also with the help of the beer, I think. And the bubbles in the beer help.
I think so. And then we also do we need to add half the butter now?
Yes.
With this. So Bella, can you add half of the butter? That's good. And then you can also add, let's put that one down here. You can also add 3 tablespoons, I think it is.
Correct.
No,
3, yeah.
3 of sugar.
And does it have to be golden sugar? Can it be any, just granulated sugar?
I'm not sure why we're using golden.
Because that's what you got.
Okay, and then who's going to mix it?
I'll go first.
You go first.
So you put the beer in
Put
there.
the beer in first. So I'm going to pour the beer in. Put that out of the way. Okay, we're going to put a whole can of beer in, and it will go all frothy.
It smells bad.
It should smell bad to you at your age.
Exactly. All right, and you're going to do some mixing.
It's very light for all this stuff mixing together. Very easy to spin.
Do you guys cook at home?
Yes,
Yeah, we did. We
cook a lot.
We cooked this before, and we thought we should do it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You can, instead of beer, if you don't like beer or you don't want alcohol, you can put seltzer water in instead.
Okay. But do you want the bubbles because that's what helps it rise?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Bella's going to stir for a bit. You have to take it in turns.
Sorry.
It's okay. I do that all the time.
Yeah, me too.
Our viewers are used to me using a mixer and having the flour go everywhere.
And we've already greased a pan, haven't we? Dad?
And we've
No, we haven't greased it, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to grease it a little bit. Oh, actually,
Here, I've got a paper towel right here.
Yeah, tiny bit of butter. Grease it up.
That is a non-stick pan from OXO,
Yeah.
so it may not need to be, but it's always a good idea, I find, even when something is non-stick, to use a little bit of butter, oil on it, just to be safe.
And then we're going to pour.
Besides, it also helps it taste really good.
Is that mixed properly?
Yep, I think so.
Looks
So put it
beautiful.
in here. Should I do that bit?
Yeah. And then some with
Okay. So,
thinking
sorry,
red.
Melody. I know. Oh, good idea. Yeah.
I thought your bowl was too small because the bread is so big, but
Yep.
it's because it rises so beautifully.
Your bread, it might not show up, but sometimes
But
it
it's
works.
fun.
Yes, it's fun to see what happens.
That there. Do this quickly. Get everything out. With it.
You are clearly a family that
If you
cooks
can't get
together.
it all out with the wooden spoon, you should use a rubber spatula.
And then,
We have
what do we do with that last bit of butter?
We put it on
Now, first of all,
top.
level the loaf out.
Level it.
Butter knows best.
You should level it with the spatula. I do have a
Yes, chef.
I do have a shirt that says I was Papa's idea.
You do, I know. Okay, take that off. And then you're going to put that on top.
Beautiful. And then does that just go pop right in the oven?
That pops right in the oven.
It does, yeah, it's 375 degrees for about 50 minutes.
50?
Yeah,
Okay, you got it.
means
50 or 15?
50.
5
Yeah.
All right, so what is happening over here with the onions
now,
and leeks?
Yes, our onions and leeks are almost soft, which is what we want them to be. And now we're going to add the beef.
Now, do you always have to use the same vegetables?
Not at all. This is the beauty about it. You can use whatever you want. My favorite is an oxtail poy-key, but oxtail is not that easily available. I've found in Bath.
It's not, oxtail is not a big thing for Americans,
No.
I think, but maybe it should be because it's delicious.
It is. That's my favorite. But I think Willoughby likes fish, so you can do a fish poy-key.
Oh, really?
Fish and chicken porky too.
You can do all
Mix.
sorts. And if
So do you use the same vegetables? You use whatever you have on hand?
use whatever you can do whatever you like. There's no rules whatsoever when it comes to recipes.
Yep.
If
Any
you,
vegetable, any meat.
if
And
you-
when you're in South Africa, what kind of meat do you use? You
well, we've got the
use-
same sort of meat that you have, but we can get game meat as well.
Yep. I bet game meat's really
Yes,
good.
like kudu and duiker and all sorts of different game meat. But most people would use the traditional meats that you get anywhere in the world.
Yes.
So we're going to,
So whatever floats your boat.
yeah, indeed. The big difference between this and a stew, it's going to brown the meat now, is once the meat is brown and we put in the vegetables, we don't stir it. There's no stirring. And
And
I
why
think with
is
the
that? Do you know?
I think the flavour goes much more into all the bits and pieces we put in. The flavour is kept in the meat more often than if you keep stirring it.
Okay.
I
Yep.
think also you're meant to just put it on the barbecue and leave it.
And go
And
do whatever
it's
you're
meant
doing.
to be easy
Yep.
and you don't need to touch it.
Yep. And you were saying, Geoff, that this, like, you put this over an open fire or on the burner,
Yes.
and you just do it like a barbecue, like it's a party. People come over for a poy-key
Absolutely.
party. They're playing games and drinking some beer or soft drinks.
Sit around and chat and have a beer or two and a glass of wine every now and again, of course. Yeah, now that meat is almost brown, so we're going to start putting the vegetables in now.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to mention that the wine that we're using and that Geoff is sampling is a Pinotage from South Africa. Quite delicious. And we have 3 other wines over here, and I didn't see what Heather grabbed.
They're all just South African.
They're just South African wines. They're great wines from South Africa, right, Geoff?
Yeah, they're fantastic wines. Right? Well, I was just saying, we can't believe the price of wines in America by comparison to the price of wines in South Africa. No, for a really nice bottle of wine, you're paying maybe $3 or $4.
Yeah.
In South Africa. But it's different.
But
It's
is,
different.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, what we're going to do now is add the red wine.
And no flour or anything in there.
No, and tomato paste. I think that's right in saying. Yeah. And of course this tomato paste you can get locally everywhere.
So we have the recipe on the website, and it will be posted with the video on Facebook and on YouTube. But you can use any vegetables that you want. As Geoff said, you don't have to use the veggies that we have on there.
I think I'm right on saying that if you go online to poy-key recipes or even Dutch oven recipes, you'll find something like 250 variations. And the fun part is that you can just make your own.
Yeah.
And
so it's kind of like making a curry or whatever in India, or a chili or whatever. You make it the way you like to make it, or with what you have on hand.
And look, and if it really tastes good, remember what you put in there, because the worst thing is when you have a really good, and you can't remember what you put in because you had too many glasses of your wine.
Don't drink too many glasses of wine before you get it going.
So we're going to stir that, and what it should do before we start adding the vegetables, reduce the liquid or the wine to about 2/3 of what it is at the moment. So it'll take a little bit of simmering, but it's starting to look good already. It's,
I'd eat it, and it smells good. Yeah.
How's the beer bread doing?
Well, the oven was not quite hot enough, so I'm sure it's doing beautifully.
Okay, well, we're getting on well with this. Everything is looking so good.
And the beer bread.
It looks great.
The other equivalent of beer bread, I guess, is cornbread.
Oh yeah, yeah. Cornbread would be perfectly good. Yeah. So while we're doing that, you may notice that our shelves are empty. The kitchen reno is going to happen very soon. We will be keeping you updated with that. We are super excited about it. But you may see us filming our demos in different employees' homes and stuff in the next few weeks, which will also be fun. So keep an eye out. We will be open. I want to stress that we will not be closing for this project. We will be open. So stop by, see what's happening. Don't mind the dust. Good thing we're all used to wearing face masks in case it is very dusty in here. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. But I wanted to share that is very exciting news, and we're super excited about it.
I tell you, the other fun thing you can do with a poy-key is if you have a group of friends and they all get together and do different poy-keys, and you get an independent judge to come along and sample them all, and you have a little competition. And you don't have to have as much quantities that we've got out here. This is enough for 6 people. You can just cut down everything by 2/3, and you can do it for 2 people. But it's very popular again, and it gets people together.
Yeah.
And I know communities that have had 30 or 40 people all presenting their poy-keys and having a little competition. They get together, and it's really a lot of fun.
It's really fun.
But it's again,
and you
something
slip
you can
a few rand, which are not worth very much, right, to the judge.
That's starting to look excellent. I think it's reduced a bit now.
Yeah.
So we'll start adding the vegetables, I think.
Beautiful.
And again, in any order, I'll just... And any quantities, really. There's no definitive thing that you can do, but let's start with the carrots.
So this is a stew-ish, is always good this time of year, but it sounds like it's good. It would be great in the summer when you have a garden and you just have tons of vegetables and you just need to make a meal for a bunch of people.
Yeah.
It'd be a great way just to use your carrots or your potatoes or your corn. The recipe I think you gave me calls for corn on the cob that you just cut into pieces and put that into.
So there's the carrots in, and I'll put the mushrooms. By the way, I've washed these all prior to them going in here. So
Apart from the carrots.
well, the carrots are
pre-washed.
pre-washed already, so it says on the label. And finally, the potatoes.
So do you guys like, I'm sorry, do you guys like eating poy-key?
Oh yes, it's very nice.
Is it one of your favorite meals?
Yeah, it is my favorite meal.
Nice. And you like helping to cook it?
Yes, it's very nice. I love cooking it.
How's that
Exciting.
look?
And what about you, Ash?
It's great for leftovers as well.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Always tastes better the next day.
I love the beer bread and the tangy taste. It's like one of my favorite breads.
Sweet.
Yeah.
We just
You
need
like it
some
with
water.
butter on it?
Some water.
Yeah, can we just have a...
Do you mind, because we're tethered? Thank you.
How much?
Yeah, just a half of that. Just give me the whole lot. Yeah. What we're going to do is just top it up with some water, and it's going to now simmer for an hour and a half.
Okay.
Thanks.
And stock.
So
And
do you
we've
wanna
got some beef stock that goes in as well.
Do you want to cover it?
Not really. We don't need to cover it.
Okay, because it's going to
I'm
steam
gonna add
with the
some-
lid on.
There's beef stock.
And then French onion soup
I'm going to put French onion soup on
at the end.
at the end because it helps to thicken the gravy, if you like.
Yep.
And
So you're using Knorr Swiss, which is not a brand that we sell, but it's very popular in Europe and apparently in South Africa as well.
oh, yeah.
And you can find this at Brackett Shaw's, Hannaford.
But I mean, you don't have to use Knorr. You
But
can
you
use,
don't have to use this. You can use
there's,
any brand.
there's Lipton, I think, is another one I
Yep.
saw. And you don't have to use French onion. I think a very popular one is brown onion soup. There's another one recommended in this particular recipe, which is
Beef and tomato.
beef and tomato.
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 You say tomato, I say tomato. We should write a song.
Okay, what I'm going to do now is put the lid on this and let it simmer for an hour and a half.
Awesome. Don't worry, we're not going to keep filming for the whole hour and a half. You don't have to watch. Because you very kindly brought
The finished
one
product, yeah.
that's already finished and boiling away.
So what we can do to that now is we can either add some soup or add some, what was it,
Cornstarch.
corn flour, is it?
I don't think you need it in there today because that's pretty thick.
You think so?
Yeah.
If you want to reduce it, just add some corn flour, and I tell you what, this is going to taste amazing.
And when Geoff says corn flour, what he means in American is cornstarch.
Yeah.
That is it, yeah. So up to you. What do you think, Ash?
I don't know. I think.
Have you added this yet?
No, that goes into here. I added that into here.
Oh, okay,
yes,
that's
yeah.
already in there.
It
So
depends
it's-
on taste. I think it's good like that, but you might want to thicken it a bit.
In which case you mix the cornstarch with water, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or with some broth and put it back
Well,
in.
you know all about that. I mean, I
Yeah,
haven't.
you can't add cornstarch to liquid. Like just pour it in, it'll just clump up. You have to mix it and then add it in. Just letting you know in case you don't know that. That looks amazing and it smells amazing and the bread smells amazing. And it's got a really nice crumb to it. And we are going to have some dinner, I think, in just a few minutes. Anything else we need to talk about? Poy-key.
I don't think so. I think the important thing is it's a social event. When you do a poy-key, you've got all your mates around and they sit down and have a glass of wine or two, or a glass of beer, or even a Coca-Cola or whatever. And it's just getting together. And the joy about it is you can actually put anything in there.
Yeah.
You don't have to stick to the recipe. I haven't stuck into this recipe. But as I said, if you really do a good one, make sure you've written it all down. So
So you remember next time.
How do you spell poy-key?
Oh, yeah. So how do you spell poy-key?
Potjie.
Yeah. So it looks like it's Potjie, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's poy-key.
Yeah.
Is that a Dutch word?
it is a Dutch word. Yeah, of course, the Dutch were the early settlers in South Africa, and this was their tradition. And when they had similar, I think, I'm not sure what the American history is, but you had cowboys going west, and they had their wagons and whatever.
Yep.
But we had the trek people with their ox wagons and whatever, and this is the way they would cook. They'd put their ox wagons round in a circle to prevent wild game coming in, and they'd do a poy-key.
Nice.
And
In a Dutch oven, so named because
The
it comes
Dutch,
from the
yeah,
Dutch.
yeah.
We're learning so much tonight. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Willoughby, Bella, thank you so much for being here. We are very excited to try the poy-key. And we hope you guys, everybody that's watching, will try one too with the beer bread. If you don't like beer bread, make it with seltzer or make cornbread or whatever. Get some nice fresh sourdough, whatever. It's going to be good no matter what you do. And a nice glass of South African wine, which we can help you out with if you want to come here for it. So we thank you very much for being here, and hopefully we'll see you next week for sticky toffee pudding, which would be a delightful dessert to have after you eat your poy-key and beer bread.
Should we come back for that?
Yeah. Yes, you should. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again soon. Take care.